are live. Alright, what are we drawing today here? How about good morning, buddy, popping in. How are we doing out there? Warmer today. Good morning, good morning. Got a little sleepy dog under my feet. How about this guy here? Just a mannequin, but you can play with the pose a little bit. Which could always be fun, right? So it's kind of waving here. Oh, forgot my mug. Sorry, Bosh. Anybody else got a sleepy dog under their feet? Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm just sitting here working on my morning study warm-ups. Good way to start the day, I think. Hopefully, right? That's pretty funny. Little detail they threw on there. Just the let's do a little OK sign with his finger, or pinching his fingers together. It's like saying it's okay, it's not, no one's gonna die, hopefully, right? From the gas or whatever he's got going on here. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Alright, might be ready to throw some ink down on this. I think with the nature of it, could be good for the brush too. There are certain kinds of effects that I'm looking for, so maybe I should plan out the dark areas here a little bit first. Yeah, so I'm sketching from some reference here, so it's a gas mask. It's like a chemical suit or something they're wearing here. So that's what we got going on here. Kind of it doesn't work so well if there's no mask, right? That's interesting. It didn't post up there or there. It's not there. How about we refresh that? There you go, that should work now. We got on there too soon. Good morning. Yeah, I think we'll just stick with what we got going on over here. All right. I might set up outside shadows. Alright, so we've got our little brush here. Get the ink out. See what kind of mess we can make this morning, right? Very important part of our daily practice is just making a mess. I'll move this out of the way so I can rotate this. Spread out, there we go. Spread out those strands. Waiting for the ink, huh? It always comes at some point, right? I can what I'm trying to do is just like figure out, I think, a good language for the thing that I want to do, and kind of getting that mileage, trying out copying other people's work, and then, going back to, sketching from reference, kind of back and forth. Just kind of seeing what I get out of it, nibs and brushes and all that good stuff. Let's see, got you. Yeah, I do a lot on the computer, on the iPad, but I still really just prefer using real media. I've been feeling it even more lately with all the nonsense around AI, people's kind of impressions of it. And kind of the false sense it gives people. And it's also been kind of making me think, rethinking my digital background, and that, I'm wondering how much we lose by having that be the emphasis too often. That it maybe got in the way of our, the convenience got in the way of our creativity. That's a problem we have to kind of deal with. But I like the iPad a lot. Don't get me wrong. I mostly use Infinite Painter because it has a lot of unique kind of tools in it that aren't available elsewhere. But that's a whole little side little theory I have that. Well, I think I don't really think it's that as much the perfection. I mean, I think that's part of it, where because you can undo things, and because there's the different kinds of guides and kind of tricks in it for cleaning things up. Is I think it doesn't require the same level of effort to learn, and therefore you kind of shortchange your own development by losing out on the fact that it's more challenging to learn. It's like none of my teachers were really digital people, except for one who was adjunct. There's one full-timer who did some digital, but it was never his kind of interest or focus. Like, he did well enough to teach some basic classes on Adobe. But it was never like his main area of focus. But yeah, I did wonder about it, just because the fact that it's more challenging to learn means that you develop more as an artist by learning it, rather than trying to speed up to the end. You have to really develop your mind and your hand to work with it more. Because I look at the great concept artists that we all look to, or illustrators even, and while there's some really great people that do digital stuff, they're almost all referencing a small group of concept artists from the 70s and 80s. Everyone's looking to Ralph McQuarrie and Sid Mead and those guys, for so much of their visual language, and they're just like transcribing that and expanding it digitally. And I kind of look at what they went through to learn, and some of them weren't even illustrators; they were maybe industrial designers or something like that. Oof, scoot back here. And I'm sure they, I know a lot of them use digital tools, later on. Like, I think Sid Mead, for like the Blade Runner movie and some other movies, was using digital stuff. But I'd rather have a gouache to look at from Sid Mead than other things. So that's But I look at how much they had to learn, how much they had to go through, the fact that you have to make decisions that you can't undo with traditional media, or which actually isn't a word I like. I don't like the word traditional media because it kind of implies, well, it implies a tradition, right? That you're working within kind of a narrow range, which really isn't what you're doing. You're just working with analog media, real stuff, and it's I think a better descriptor of it than traditional. But it's something that's been on my mind, and been discussing it with some of the other teachers. And I kind of got the look of, are you a heretic? When I was saying, well, what if we shifted, like our concept drawing class to being all traditional media? Yep, have a good one. And I get these looks once in a while from people like, what do you mean? Like, how dare you overturn our little apple cart? I think part of that just comes to the fact that people aren't used to it, like the newer teachers, or it's something difficult to master, and so they're hesitant to jump on that. Um, um, but that's just something that's been I've been thinking about a lot lately. That maybe the my adoption of digital as a student might have been a mistake to a certain degree. I mean, it's definitely benefited me, but I do wonder about it from time to time. So, yeah, but a lot of my own personal work, I've been kind of switching back to doing more traditional, but some digital stuff too that's a little more unique, for me at least, like learning some 3D stuff as a way of generating reference materials for projects, or there's unique tools on the iPad, like in the app I like, Nomad Sculpt, that are definitely add functionality that you don't really get other places. that I think make a big difference for everybody. Alright, I'm going to use a circle for the mask. Well, circle for one and ellipse for the other. Let's get out the L marker O. I guess I should go the other way, huh? Actually drew the wrong eye, but oh well. I want to do this one like that. Oh well. That's what I get for thinking I'm in a hurry when I'm not, right? Right. Definitely a lot to be said for inking with a brush, right? That's what I always say. Guess we could paint these feet in. Too much ink. Guess I could use that as my dipping well here, this big blob of ink I just dropped. Hello over there on Kick. Sorry I don't speak whatever you got written there, but good morning. Or afternoon, depending on where you're at. Alright, let's get some white paint on here to touch it up. So even he's waving, right? Good morning, everybody coming in. Alright. Let's see if I can't fill maybe some expressions in here. That might be a good idea. Pull up my one of my expression pages. Fill in the gaps here. Mind the gap, right? Good morning, Bosch. The dog's always readjusting himself. Sleeping here under the feet. So all the features are kind of flat because she's grimacing. Lift that nose up just a scotch higher. Lift those cheeks up just a little bit. Alright, where's that? Good morning. Let's see. Alright, how are we doing time here? 49, alright. Alright, let's see how we do. There you are, brush. Have to give her a little bit more chin there at the bottom, but it's alright. Good morning, people popping in. stuck on the tip there. Maybe an eraser bit or something. Oops. That was not what I wanted to do. Just to put a big blotch in her face. So Irma just caught that. Made a mistake. It's harder to fix on this brown paper. It is supposed to be light on that side, so maybe I can drop some white paint on that big blob I just dropped on her face. She's trying to stay loose, and boom. I'm sure she appreciates it. Yeah, so nobody laugh at my mistake there, or I'll cry really hard. Lift that nose up, flare out those nostrils. Gotta fix that little blob I made a mess with up there. Yarak meme? What is that? Let's see. Otus beer? No idea what any of those words mean. Sorry about that. Slipped right there, but I can put white on that side of the face to fix that up, I think. I do speak English, of course, my native language, but as far as non-English languages, I have some limits. Говорю по-русски свободно и читаю. Kalbu lietuviškai, tai jeigu nori rašyti kažką lietuviškai, suprasiu tikriausiai.都係識講中文啊，少少啊. So those are kind of my limits up there, sadly, I guess. Be nice if there were some other options for me, but that's about it. Good morning. I like the big blotch I made on her face up there by accident. Alright, let's get the white out here. Should I go ahead and put the date down just in case I don't need the pen again. Today is the 4th. Man, this year is just plugging right along. Pin ref. Good morning. Yeah, I saw the Jeff Johns series Exodus Rook they released a graphic novel version of their stuff. But I was looking at the page though on what's it called, on Amazon, and I noticed that they're doing a deluxe edition that comes out in the fall, hardcover. I'm like, I think I probably would rather wait for that. That's Jason Fabik and Jeff Johns writing. I'm like, seems like I'd rather have that than a paperback. Okay, yeah, he's got a thing called Ghost Machine. It's a bunch of different comics. Some of them are kind of related to each other. Others are not. So the Exodus Rook one is interesting. It's about a planet that's been terraformed, but I guess there's something wrong with the terraform machine. So all most of the colonists have fled, especially the wealthy ones. And the planet's kind of descending into chaos. So the animals are mutating when they shouldn't be because it's not being maintained by the systems. The wildlife is going crazy, and then there's people trying to vie for power. And the main character, he's trying to leave. So he's working with a friend to put together a ship from spare parts and leave the planet. And yeah, so there's like giant turtles and wolves and boars. The Rook character, he's attached to crows. And they have these helmets that are kind of themed after the animals, but the helmets allow them to communicate and control animals. So there's a girl, she has she controls the wolves. There's a guy, and then there's another character, the villain, he's going through and he's killing off these assorted rangers that have these animal helmets and stealing them for himself. And so that's what it's about. So it's a lot of cool like post-apocalyptic stuff, a lot of cool vehicles, very sci-fi oriented, with giant turtles and boars and bears and all kinds of craziness. Thought about just wandering down and like picking up all these single issues. I have been reading them just because the way comics are these days. Like, I don't know if it's worth investing, in a series till it's been running for a while. Yeah, so there's that one. Then some of the other ones he's doing. One's called Hyde Street, Hyde, like Jekyll and Hyde, and it's about these damned souls who are kind of doing a penance by collecting up other damned souls and sending them to hell. So it's like a Twilight Zone type thing where people show up on this Hyde Street and they get sold something or get involved in something because they're on the run from something else that they've done that's terrible. And they get kind of sucked into the Hyde Street world. So there's people that are like frozen as certain things. There's a guy who is an actor playing Frankenstein, and he's kind of stuck as a Frankenstein's monster. There's an 80s lady, fixated on weight and fitness, and she's kind of selling those type of products, but it's definitely not great for the people buying them. There's a Boy Scout. He's like 10 years old or something, but he's been there forever and won't leave. Oh, thank you very much over there, Okam Fu or Okam Lu. Yeah, there's other characters involved as well, but they're all kind of damned souls, feeding people to hell. I forget who the artist is. He's really good though. Like, it's really good art. And then what else is there? Geiger, which is about a guy who he kind of survived the end of the world, a nuclear holocaust, but he has to like keep his powers in check, otherwise he kind of goes off like a nuke of radioactive energy. And he's spent the last like 20 years guarding a nuclear shelter that his wife and child escaped into, and waiting for the day when it's safe for them to come back outside. So he's kind of guarding that spot. And then there's all the post-apocalyptic stuff going on around. It's near Vegas, and so there's like this whole Camelot thing coming out of Vegas. Let's see, what's the other ones they got there? There's like a futuristic one about a family escaping through time. There's a whole bunch of these different ones that he's been doing, and under his it's an image kind of imprint called Ghost Machine. Yeah, I think the problem is that nobody's heard of them. I think it's been hurting them a lot because they haven't been getting the advertising or word of mouth that they need to really make it very, very, very successful. But I think the Exodus Rook one is on hold until the fall. So they're giving the artist time to kind of catch up to the story. Yeah, I thought about walking over to the comic shop, which I haven't been into yet. That's down here, and seeing if I can pick some of those up, get caught up with at least the Exodus Rook one. Yeah, it's all good, the good stuff. So yeah, Exodus Rook and Hyde Street. Just so if you look up Ghost Machine, and they're promoting it a bunch on social media and things, but I had to do this big white thing on her because I accidentally dropped my brush right into the middle of her face, which I'm sure she appreciates. But let's see, I need to clean up this little circle on here. When I did the brush thing, it got a little jaggedy. Tons of crazy detail in all the drawings. It's just kind of nutty stuff. So, I'm trying to remember what the other ones were. Oh well, those are the ones I mainly paid attention to. So, but anyway, it's been about an hour. Appreciate everybody that popped in. And we'll talk to you all next time.